Phase. Hero. We got an echo. Quick, hold on. Let's try to. Who's echoing?
Not me.
Well, all right, we'll try this again. Phase Hero, Daredevil, direct. No, this is not. Wow. Okay, I don't even know what day it is. Here, we're gonna redo the whole thing one time, real quick. Phase Hero, Daredevil, Born Again, Season 1 finale. Review and discussion starts right now. BD here, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
We got Aaron Perrine.
Wow, man. I'm just locked in on Brandon's background right now.
Yeah.
I have to leave immediately after this episode. I'm at this hotel called the Bella Star Hotel in Tokyo. I'm here for Star Wars Celebration, but the Bella Star invited me to stay here because I came into Tokyo early, and this is the coolest thing ever. That's Mount Fuji behind me.
Wild.
So, yeah, we're doing the Daredevil director. Jesus, the Daredevil director debrief is out there now. I recorded that a couple weeks ago. But we're doing the Daredevil discussion and review globally right now. It is 11 a.m. on Wednesday for me while I'm recording this. We got Hannah C in the first live stream. We got a $4.99 from J Sal. Let's go, Phase Hero. Thank you, J Sal 1029. In this episode, we're going to go around reactions to the Daredevil Born Again Season 1 finale, Episode 9. And then we're going to talk through the whole episode, all the Easter eggs, maybe some comic stuff that was in this episode. I see people are already asking, should I read Devil's Reign in the comments? So we'll talk about that, and then we'll give it a 10 score. Scott Autry with the Why is BD in Fisk's condo, this conspiracy. DC Film News, Phase Hero with a big 10. Thank you so much, DC Film News. Hey, great channel, DC Film News, by the way. If you're a DC fan looking forward to Superman, you should be following DC Film News on every platform where you can find them. All right, we're going to go around with reactions. Aaron, you're at the top of the screen. What did you think of this Daredevil finale? And comment section, I encourage you to play along in real time. And by the way, also, I discovered there's a Spotify comment section now. I didn't know that. Leave comments on Spotify, too. We love you guys. Aaron, what do you think?
I mean, of course, it's going to be a very good opinion on here. Most violent thing on Disney Plus? Is that possible? Do they think so? We thinking? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, but super interesting. Anytime you get John Bernthal and Charlie Cox together this much on screen, it is going to at least be pleasurable. This is the second thing that's not really my bag that's been all right for me this week. So we're building momentum.
Jenna, what'd you think?
I'm in Aaron's boat. I usually have a pretty high tolerance for fictionalized violence and blood and stuff like that, but I was astonished at how much this episode got away with. I was talking to BD a little bit before we started recording, and I'm like, on Mickey Mouse's streaming service, we didn't cut away when that moment with the head happened. I am astonished by that. And I'm just amazed that they were able to stick the landing with all of that. I think that this was a very ambitious episode, and I think it accomplished so much. And to Aaron's point, once you get the cast in here and once you had Bernthal and Charlie just kind of bouncing off of each other, I could have watched that for 10 hours. That was delightful. When Frank fully started disavowing the fanboy cops, I was elated. I've been waiting for that moment for years and was delightful to see that happen from the comics and now in live action.
So you talk about the amount of violence and being sort of taken aback by it, maybe, or blown away by it. Do you say that in a good way or a bad way? Which way are you leaning in that?
I think it's mixed feelings. It was disgusting to see, but I was also impressed that they were able to pull it off. And then I know in your interview with the directors, they kind of talked about how they made that moment happen. That is not something that is an easy thing to pull off in any way, shape, or form. So I was just impressed that they went there and they didn't just cut away to a blood splatter or anything.
Yeah, I found I'm not one for that level of violence, but I thought that it was used effectively. So I appreciate it in that regard. We got 10 from Daniel Zambrano. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the comment. Best episode of the whole season. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. Also, Jamie not on this episode. Jamie hates Daredevil, confirmed. Yes, Jamie does hate Daredevil. She's also in Tokyo for Star Wars Celebration, but she said specifically, I hate Daredevil, so I'd rather do anything else than be on the podcast for the finale. No. She's just traveling and stuff. I'm just the only lunatic who brought podcast gear to another freaking side of the planet. Another $4.99 from Hannah. We need an army. Could we see Matt recruiting during all of S2 and then we see them going after the task force at the end? We're going to talk about that for sure. And I have a theory about it and also something I thought was going to happen in this episode, but we'll save that for later. My reaction to this episode, second favorite episode of the whole season, probably. 8 is still my favorite, but I think this is really, really good. The action, I was longing for that continuous action shot. I thought maybe somehow in the hospital, even though it was only Buck who went for Matt, that might be where we got it. It just seemed like the right setup. Anytime you see a hallway in Daredevil, you go, oh, here we go. But we didn't. We just went lights out from there, and everybody was living in Matt's world, which I thought was a really effective tactic and good choice for the show. I think that the way this episode was edited, Moorhead and Benson prove again they don't miss, because you're cutting between Fisk and Gallo and then Matt talking with Karen, and all these different things are playing out at the same time. So it's so well paced. So top to bottom, the directing, the writing, the score from the Newton brothers that keeps the tension going. I thought this episode just had everything. And it's still, episode 8 is my favorite because I think that cliffhanger was my single favorite moment of the whole series so far. But even the needle drop at the end of this episode, there were several great needle drops in this episode, but that Radiohead song has been on my playlist for 2 months, and I just haven't been able to tell anybody where I found it. So, yeah, overall, clearly, I think I might be the highest on this episode here of the group. But yeah,
I still liked it. I still thought it was great. It's just, yeah, the head was definitely the thing that we had to talk about first.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and the chat does seem to agree with us of like ranging from it's too much to it was cartoonish. Like, yeah, it's definitely something I never expected to see on this show, which is still crazy given the amount of violent things we've seen on the show. But it's still as a whole, like the episode was definitely great. But I agree with you. I think 8 definitely was a stronger episode just in terms of what I like.
And so let's just start there with the head smash. Commissioner Gallo got his face ripped off and smashed by Kingpin. He didn't need a door this time. He just needed his bare hands. And we've talked a bit about how there would be a Kingpin physical transformation this season. We've seen his meals go from asparagus to full-on, omelets and steak, and they're getting bigger. The plate's getting more full, and his suits aren't fitting anymore. And then there's the shot of him and Vanessa in the beginning of this episode. His shoulders are looking like just massive. Clearly Vincent D'Onofrio wearing something under that. How far do you guys want to see them go with the Kingpin evolution? The fact that now he's strong enough to smash ahead, but how big do you want to see this boy get? Do you want to see him full comics?
I mean, we're never getting to like the Spider-Verse level of just the very cartoon. Like that is physically impossible. They can't put D'Onofrio in any sort of suit to make that actually work. But I feel like as the chat's talking about Devil's Reign and whether or not we're leaning towards that in season 2, which it definitely seems like we are, that is definitely an opportunity to like have Kingpin be at his strongest, have him be his most powerful, because this is kind of like the definitive point that you can take him as a character.
Aaron, how big do you want to see Kingpin get?
I mean, a little bit bigger. I feel like we're playing a Price is Right game right now. Like there's like a wheel of how chonky he's supposed to get. We can get a little bit bigger, I think.
I think we're gonna get bigger. Yeah, Commissioner Gallo's death kind of shocked me. I thought Sheila was gonna be the one who kind of led the revolution within Kingpin's group, within Wilson's task force, but she sold him out. That shocked me. I thought Sheila was for sure going to be the sane one, but no. She's in there. She just, probably for survival mode. I don't think she's, a bad person or knew that would happen. But I think that caught me off guard.
I honestly was expecting her to like somehow be a casualty of this episode. So yeah, I think it was survival and self-preservation, but especially after Gallo's moment with BB in the previous episode, I was like, man, I really hate to see him go. Like he was such a good guy in this ecosystem. And then we immediately got rid of him in like the most violent way possible.
I like this comment from Bible Alive Presentations. She's a politician. Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, Sheila is a politician. I have no sympathy for Sheila, says Mushfiqar. I have no sympathy for her. I don't know that she knew what Fisk was capable of. Mm-hmm. He said send him home. Yeah. So I don't think she thought he was going to crush this man's skull. And as far as we know, Sheila doesn't even know that Gallo is dead.
Yeah.
Because he said send him home, and Commissioner Gallo has resigned, is what he told everybody, right? There was no update beyond that. Only the people in that room know what really happened, and whoever they might have told. So, but yeah, I still don't have sympathy for Sheila, but I don't think she knows or knew this would happen.
Yeah.
It's just an audience surrogate character to show, like, when the chips are down, like, most people would just save their own thing. I don't think it's any politician or anything like that. I think you're going to see a whole bunch of other people at the start of season 2 saving their own skin to stay out of the way of things. And it's the funniest part about this episode, and I will shut up about it, is this was written 2 years ago. And I was like, that's hilarious. How?
Yeah. There's another show coming to Disney Plus soon that touches on some. Yeah, well, JH with the $5. This was my favorite episode by far. Felt like the Netflix series. The tone, acting, and pacing were fantastic. Hopefully, season 2 keeps it up. A lot of people say this is their favorite episode, and I really enjoy seeing that. I think 8 and 9 are clearly the pivot into a tone more in line with Netflix. I tweeted the other day that you could take out episodes 2 through 7, and those are episodes that I largely do enjoy, and just watch 8 and 9, 1, 8, and 9, and you could get the gist of it and see that those were the pivotal points where the reshoot of the show came in and they went in a new direction. It's obviously an exaggeration. 2 through 7 did add good context and have, in my opinion, valuable, entertaining scenes. But I agree. This episode 8 specifically is a pivot towards what we saw on Netflix before. And speaking of, I'm just going to cut to the end of the episode before running through some of the Easter eggs and stuff. When Matt was talking to Karen at the very end, I for sure thought those doors were going to open and it would be the Defenders sitting there. I thought it would be Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Did anyone else think that?
I thought like somebody. I'm like, who's available that could probably help Matt in a situation? Jen Walters. Like, she could easily hop on a plane and come over. She doesn't. Like, there are definitely people. I've seen people in the chat wondering if Echo's going to show up. Like, I feel like we could get to that point of having that sort of team in season 2, but like, I was kind of surprised there weren't any of them in this scene.
It was just a bunch of characters who most of them we probably don't remember their names. Right? I mean, really, like, you recognize a couple of them because we've seen them as cops. I think Cherry was in there and Karen was in there, but other than that, I don't think I could name anybody now. So that made me go, when I saw this episode 2 months ago, for a second, I thought it was fake footage to prevent a leak getting out. That I actually brought that up to Moorhead and Benson. I said, I thought you guys sent fake footage because I thought you were just trying to keep a secret that it was going to be the Defenders in there. Because to me, I'll be honest, that felt a little anticlimactic. But I get it. And they actually explained it in the interview that it was because if it was superheroes sitting there, it would have felt like it was going to be too easy of a task to take down Fisk. So they wanted it to look like there's a small army of people who are going to have to claw their way to get him in season 2. I have an update about season 2 that we're going to play later, right before we wrap up the show today, from Moorhead and Benson. It's in that Daredevil director debrief, which is on the channel. But yeah, that ending I thought was it was really well executed in terms of the emotion that Matt has to show as well. And Karen coming back was great. We want to talk about Karen? Should we go to Karen now?
Yeah.
Who's she? Matt or Frank?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like she's conflicted between the two of them at this point. Also, can we talk about him saying Karen's name when he woke up from the coma?
Yes,
because
exactly
I audibly, like, my husband and I audibly reacted. We were like, oh no. I feel like they're setting up kind of a little love triangle there. Like, I feel like it's a complicated thing where they all have very complex relationships with each other, and she clearly has some sort of feelings for both of them. And it just kind of is like, what makes the most sense in this circumstance, especially considering the fact that they both are very violent men doing this in their spare time.
Yeah.
Aaron, any thoughts on that one?
While we were watching, Ariel was like, "Wait, what?" Because it's been a minute since she saw season 3. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing." I'm like, "There's a whole wing of Tumblr dedicated to this dynamic right here."
Yep.
I don't know where it's going to lead, what's going to happen. Although BD, the Matt baddies of season 2, I don't know what he's going to do here. It's getting a little crowded on the bench. Get a little crowded.
Deep. Good gracious. Yeah, Matt, this guy pulls. Yeah, Daniels and Brown, thank you again for the 5. Small disagree with BD. The White Tiger episodes are up on my favorite of the season list and really defined this version of Matt for me. It's fair. That's fair. The lawyer stuff was early on and then sort of switched into action mode at the ending here. But yeah, when Matt said Heather, or when Matt said Karen to Heather, I thought that was hilarious. And it also like did that fuel Heather's turn towards Fisk. I thought it was absurd that she would just refused to even give an ounce of belief towards Matt. This man's an attorney. I don't care if you know he's Daredevil or not. You're dating this man. You know how smart he is. You've seen what he does for a living. You don't believe him even for a second that Vanessa is like he wouldn't just go willy-nilly making a claim like that. She's going full Andrea. Full Andrea.
I'm torn about this because like I saw discourse after last week's episode that I honestly did agree with of like if you just looked at things from Heather's point of view, her blind boyfriend who like does not even know that she is dealing with the Fisks in her line of work suddenly is like paranoid that the mayor is out to get him. And so it's like that seems objectively wild if she doesn't know that he's Daredevil and she's just operating in her own world. But like I do agree that she immediately like heel turned and went further down the path that she did. But at the same time, it's like I could kind of see where she was coming from. It just seems like the circumstances of everything and the fact that like Matt almost died, she's kind of like, well, screw it. I'm just gonna go in the Fisk's corner, I guess.
She's full Andrea. I'm sorry. And that character is gonna be the subject of so much hate in season 2 if she stays being a part of Fisk's. What did he make her? The head of mental health?
Yeah.
Like some bullshit thing.
Oxymoron, right?
Yeah.
Like, Fisk, but that's Fisk at his best. There's 2 moments where Fisk's manipulation tactics come out. One is earlier in the episode when he reframes Matt saving him as an opportunity to have Matt Murdock die and have it be a positive for Mayor Fisk. And the other is this when he's just able to manipulate the whole situation in his favor. Connor Berger, $4.99. Thank you so much. Thanks for all you do. You're all such a positive light. Next up, Thunderbolts. We're actually working on something really special for Thunderbolts. It's not like 100% confirmed yet, but I mean, it's like 99. So we'll be sharing that. That's going to be really cool, our Thunderbolts episode. So excited for that. Thank you to everybody who's dropped super chats throughout the Daredevil Born Again reviews and discussions. By the way, you guys rule. Another $1.99 from Alex. Karen going for the frat to trifecta. Frank and Matt, I see what you did there. AD with a $1.99. I can die happy. What a finale. Love y'all guys. Yeah, this finale is getting a lot of love, and I'm glad to see it. I was wondering because it wasn't incredibly climactic in terms of wrapping it up that people would reject it. And when 10 minutes were left in the episode, I was like, how the hell are they going to wrap this up? Because we've become so trained by Marvel TV on Disney Plus to expect that there's going to be a conclusion to every story that starts in the first episode. And you're like, no. There's a season 2. Dalton, thank you for 10. I love that the overhaul didn't outright ignore what came before, but built upon it. Honestly, a huge writing accomplishment. Totally agree. Moorhead and Benson love the Netflix show, and you can hear it every time they talk about it. What time is it over here, Fit Dad? It is 11:25 a.m. on Wednesday. I've slept a collective 12 hours in 4 days. It is what it is. All right, let's get through some Easter eggs here real quick. Vanessa is the true Kingpin. She absolutely manipulated Bullseye to get him his freedom. She was the one behind Foggy's death, which is very straight out of the comics. She is the one who ordered the hit on Foggy in the comics, but she kept him alive, and he was in witness protection, so they could still go that route. We know Foggy is coming back in season 2, which is something that somehow, some way was dropped on this very podcast about 2 months ago. Insanity. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen with Bullseye after this?
I almost feel like it's like a redemption arc or something. Like he seemed so sad at the end of the episode. Like he just seems to want to be like free from this mess that he's been put into, and he doesn't want to be just like a pawn for other people. And I'm like, if that is his arc in season 2, I'm here for it.
Yeah, the season 2 seems to be very Devil's Reign influenced, where Fisk has outlawed being a superhero. But I don't think it's going to have the big scope that the comic has, because there's a lot of heroes in New York involved in that comic. Obviously, I think this is going to be limited to Daredevil and maybe a couple of his friends. We're not going to see Spider-Man. And I already saw people in the comments saying, where is Spider-Man? And that's a valid question. That's the same way when Thor: The Dark World was happening. I was like, where's Captain America and Iron Man? So it's just going to be a thing the MCU faces. Part of me wants to be like, figure it out, put them all in there, because Spider-Man would show up for this. But also, I get it. Sometimes you can't. And as long as you tell a good story, well, it doesn't matter. But also, we don't know where Spider-Man is. In the middle of a brand new day. Aaron, you're muted.
Jenna, in comics crossovers, like we run into this a lot, right? Like
Mhm.
where like Absolute Carnage or all these other weird events, Secret Empire, etc., where like one hero who could come out of nowhere and solve the conflict is not here, or at least make it more interesting. I
Mhm.
don't know how they're gonna navigate this. I'm like, I would wonder what you would have to say about that, because
I
comics.
I definitely agree with you. Like in the comics, it feels like the sitcom trope of like when you have one character like inexplicably just leave for an episode because it's like if they were around, they're too smart and immediately the situation resolves itself. I feel
Mhm.
like that is a very similar sort of approach here. Obviously Devil's Reign was like a massive crossover in the comics. Like you have the Fantastic Four, you have literally every functioning superhero in New York is somehow involved with the event in one way or another because they had all these different tie-ins and they wanted it to be expansive. But I agree, I feel like we could get references or some sort of acknowledgement to the other characters who are there, but it's not going to be the same level of scope that we had in the comics.
Yeah, there's a chance that this is the best Marvel show on Disney Plus when Born Again is said and done with. I'm curious if we're gonna get more than season 2. Will it end there, or will there be a bit more to it after that? I hope it keeps going, but then it's hard to imagine with Doomsday and Secret Wars becoming a part of it. How does Daredevil not get caught in that? We'll see. My notes: the first person Matt asked for when he woke up was Karen. Wilson says, "Vanessa, I know. Because he knows she ordered the hit about Foggy. I think he's a little scared that she did that because he knows Matt is going to come for that ass now. And I think that's why she was reluctant to tell him. Right?
Yeah.
100%.
Fisk tries to close the city down. He's going mad with power. I thought that like he says, there's a tipping point. We've reached a tipping point in everything moment. But then the Newton brothers just put the little note right there, like it struck a chord, and it strikes fear in you through the music too. Sheila rats out Gallo. I thought Buck was going after Matt. Was going to lead to a big hospital scene. Punisher surprises Matt. Of course, Karen is what brought Frank back to the show. Did you guys know Karen was going to be in this finale?
I mean, so I couldn't skip through the credits like I normally can on Disney Plus, and so I watched the credits, like the opening credits, and I was like, "Oh, Deborah's listed, so obviously she's going to be here." But I liked it because there's been the meme all season of like Karen trips over a curb or stubs her toe or something, and that's immediately what brings Frank into the fold. So I'm glad like a version of that is what happened, just like more actually plot focused.
Did we? There's a comment like Frank telling those guys who idolize him
Yes.
to go F off. That's straight from the comics.
It is. It's almost like it's a little bit different in the comics. There's like a Punisher decal on a cop car, and he like literally rips the decal apart, and gives this very long monologue. But it accomplishes the same exact thing in this show. Like once he started doing that, I was like grinning ear to ear. I was so happy because, as we've said throughout this entire season, the cops kind of repurposing the Punisher logo has been a huge point of contention for years. Like the creators of the Punisher in the comics have kind of disavowed it, and it has been this whole thing. And so I've still been amazed this entire season that we've gotten acknowledgement of it, but then to fully have Frank come back and like literally look at the camera and say it was just a great thing. I know a lot of people watching are still going to have that completely go over their heads and they're not really going to recognize what they're being told, but I was glad that it still was being said.
Yeah, what in the comics he's like, you want somebody to idolize Captain America. Yeah. And I mean, he didn't say that here. He could have. It would have worked just the same, but it would have been weird because also then the whole conversation would have been like, well, the new Captain America, the old Captain America, all that kind of stuff. Alex B, thanks for the $4.99. I would love it if they start to incorporate mutants in season 2 and beyond, especially with police state shenanigans. Yeah, mutants would be. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe we'll get one reference or something, but I just don't know when we're going to get full on X-Men yet. I don't think that's happening until after Secret Wars. Frank going into the task force is like, Den, what the hell was his, like, did he want to get caught?
I don't know.
Because there was no way he was getting through that.
I feel like it was almost just for the emotion of it. It was like wanting to confront them in one way or another. Because again, he spends the whole episode being like, I'm ready to get at those fanboys and yada yada. And so like obviously he did it in the apartment, but I don't know if it was just like personal, and I think it was also what Karen said of like, you don't care enough to want to investigate, to want to like take the initiative in what's going on. And so then his version of taking the initiative was just going in by himself, guns blazing, I think.
Yeah. Thank you, JH, for the 2. Radiohead banger outro was Chef's Kiss. There, I found that song on my playlist for 2 months and I haven't been able to tell anybody where I found it. But and I accidentally posted my yesterday. I posted Daredevil finale tonight because I'm in Japan, and I thought it was like I set an alarm for 7 a.m. yesterday here, thinking I was gonna have to wake up and we'd get ready for this podcast, but I was a day early and a day ahead all at the same time. I don't really know, but I used the song from the finale, and I was like, "Wait, I put that up way too early."
Oh no!
But it's too late. But I mean, nobody's going to piece that together now. Now that it's out, I can whatever. But nobody realized because there's just no way to know that. Show ends. Punisher's locked up. Fisk is in power. He's getting more. Him and Vanessa seemingly happily ever after in the dungeon. Daredevil is rallying his small army of good cops and Karen. And we are the city without fears is last thing he says there. And Fisk looks straight in the camera and says, I love New York. So that's where we are. And then post-credit scene, Punisher breaks out. He finds a cop who's also probably a fan of his. What was his name? Cappuccino or something? Something crazy Italian.
Hilarious.
It was Italian. It was not that, though.
And Caputo, I don't know. I had friends with that last name for sure when I was in high school, whatever it was, but I don't remember. And he basically rips this man's arm off in the cell, not literally, but breaks the hell out of it and escapes, which sets up the Punisher special presentation, which will be coming sometime soon to Disney Plus. So that's very exciting. And John Bernthal is working on writing that, so we love that. Of course, it was a Jersey guy. Listen, we've been doing things, Judon, us Jersey guys. So yeah, anything else about this episode you guys want to talk about before we 10 score it?
Poor Swordsman. Well, he's also locked up. That was a bummer.
Jack Duquesne is down there issuing warnings, not threats, but warnings.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to draw attention to homeboy. Like, what's his name? Daniel, young boy. I've relished him being just as much of a jerk as I imagine he would be from his little face at the beginning. Everybody give him all that benefit of the doubt. I gotta stop getting suckered in by that. He got big designs too. When he said "Thank you, Buck,"
yeah,
big like stop the episode, look at each other on the couch moment here at the house. Like, yep.
I almost felt like Daniel might have been like a little bit nervous towards the end there because he looked at Sheila in a way that his face was like, yeah, we're kind of stuck here now. Why would he look at Sheila and think that? But I don't know. That was the vibe I got from that. But I think Daniel's all in on Fisk. Robert, thank you for the 5. My son, weekend, he watched the episode of Start in Hell with Daredevil talking to Foggy. That would have been wow. That would have been dark. They could have done something like that too, where like Daredevil, because the last episode was sort of like an imagery that implied Daredevil's soul leaving his body for the sake of drama, but it could have been something where he could have had like one of those near-death moments. But I don't know if Foggy's dead, so maybe they decided not to do that. Again, we know Foggy's in season 2, we just don't know how yet. So yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all I've got for this finale. Season 1 as a whole, I thought was brilliant. I think that these episodes really landed it. When you go back to episode 1 and you see the Foggy of it all, this is an incredible way to put a bow on that when you have the reveal of Vanessa being behind it, how they revealed Vanessa is behind it, and what that does to propel the finale forward into season 2. That's why I think season 1 was fantastic, is the way this all comes together, with everything building it slowly along the way and doing little detours and side quests in those 2 through 7 episodes. Yeah. What do you guys think of season 1 as a whole, Jenna?
I am so thankful that the show was weekly. Like, I still love the Netflix show so much, but it is so wonderful to be able to consume stuff with these characters in a weekly setup and be able to sit with my theories, be able to appreciate, like, this is the court episode, this is the bottle episode in the bank. Like, it was just the perfect way to be able to get reacquainted with these characters. And yes, it sucks that we have to wait like a year now for season 2, but I loved the fact that the finale left so much unresolved. Like, that was a very gutsy thing to do, and I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah, Aaron, what'd you think?
I mean, I just hope everybody got what they asked for. I
Yeah.
always do. Like, shout out to Superman and Final Crisis. I just wish for a happy ending, man. That's
Yeah.
all I want for people, for real. Like, Adam Barhart's happy, and that's got to
Yeah.
be good enough for me. That's
That's
got
it.
to be.
The
Yeah.
Save Daredevil crowd, if they're happy. Yeah, no. All right. 10 scores. Aaron, you're at the top of the screen there. Sorry to put this on you first. Rate the finale out of 10.
I mean, what did I get? I gave the 8 like a 9.6, something like that. 9.6. I go like 9.4, 9.3. Like I said, I'm not here to ruin anybody's averages. I don't hate anything. I'm not Jamie. Like, whatever, man. Live your life.
I'm not Jamie. I don't hate it. Jenna?
I'm gonna say a 9.2. Like I said, like I feel like episode 8 was a little bit stronger, and I still think episode 2 was probably my favorite out of the entire season. But I think this was a very strong and a very gutsy finale in a lot of different ways.
I'm going to go with a 9.1. So that divided by 3 puts us at a 9.233 score for 9.2 on the finale for Phase Hero official ranking. We got a 10, we got a 9.8, we got a 9.7, we got a 9 in the comments. We got a question: is Muse coming back in season 2? Brandon, I'm gonna be so straight up with you when I say I don't care. I don't know. Muse to me was a very secondary villain in this series, and that was fine with me. I don't need more Muse. Do you guys need more Muse?
I feel like there could be copycats. I also know people were theorizing about it because there were more murals shown in the trailers than we actually got in the show. So people were like, are those things we're going to get in the actual show? And like, did another Muse create them? So I think it would be interesting to explore copycats given how gross and specific like Muse's whole deal is. But I agree with you. I feel like there's so much else that's already going on.
Yeah, I'm not. I saw a lot of people pressed that Muse died in episode 7 as if they're sudden. Like, I bet most of those people who are pissed off didn't even know who Muse was before he was announced as being part of this show. Everybody acts like, oh my God, in the comics, you did this thing and all that.
Yeah.
No, y'all just saw on Twitter that Muse is a villain from comics. You probably never Some of the people did, absolutely. That's not everybody. But everybody wants to act like they know everything. And then Marvel did wrong because they killed a villain who was never even more than like an arc in the comics anyway. I don't know. Did y'all think you're getting fucking Thanos with Muse? Like, no. But Kingpin was always the villain of this show. All right. That's our Daredevil Born Again Season 1 run. Thank you so much. We did it. 9 episodes. Jenna, any last words for today's show to the 240 plus people watching live?
Wow. It's at Hey, it's Jenna Lynn on social media. As always, go read some comics, go read Devil's Reign, go read Daredevil comics, and go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is at Go Read Some Comics. Literally almost done editing a video right now that is celebrating my 50th video on the channel. So be sure to be subscribed so you don't miss out on that. And then I'm totally blanking on which convention it happened at, but I reposted Vincent D'Onofrio talking at a convention recently just about like creativity and like being an actor and being like a consumer of art. And it was a really, really eloquent, really well done quote. And just go look that up, go listen to it, because I loved hearing that, and it feels very relevant to this audience.
Aaron.
Oh goodness. It's at Some Lake Hornet on all platforms. At How to Watch Free TV to watch Free Space. We had Jeffrey Trammell, beloved showrunner of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, on to talk about all sorts of stuff. I got a clip of him talking about NFL Super Pro. He talks a little bit about having Gwen in there in season 2, a bunch of other fun stuff working on it. We got another episode coming out this week. Jamie says hello. She's drank enough matcha and ate enough sushi to feed a small island nation, and she's having a great time. She's like, I do not hate anything. She wanted us to know that. Also, if you go to see Sinners this week, put your phone away.
All right, y'all, that's our show, and I promise you guys an update on season 2 from the directors. The full interview with Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson is on the channel right now. It dives into this episode and offers a look at just season 2 and how they did this season 1 finale. So go check that out. Play our show for your dad, play it for your cat. I will not be doing Last of Us coverage because I couldn't get the episodes sent to me, and therefore, if I don't make the episodes immediately, I'm not making a review of it because I'll be the last one to the party and nobody's going to watch it, Jonathan. So that's why you won't see Last of Us coverage from me. I'm just going to enjoy the show like everybody else does. Enjoy this clip from Moorhead and Benson about season 2. See ya, I don't know, sometime when I'm not on a plane. We'll figure out when the next episode of Phase Hero is. I'll be at Star Wars Celebration all week. So thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. And so long.
These things, they both pulled off their masks. He's like, I am Daredevil. I am Kingpin, and we're just going to be those things. And so as we begin season 2, we get to see what that's like, of them just feeling fully self-actualized. They're stretching. They are at one within their skin. Do you think Matt's probably at his happiest being able to just wail on Fisk's bad guys? You know, that's probably when he doesn't have to hold back, when he doesn't have to play within a system. Now, he's happy, and that's dark. It's a darkness. It's a sickness. But that's why he's happy. And so, you know, we're not starting season 2 with everyone, you know, everything in its right place, as the title of that Radiohead song. That's supposed to be ironic, where everyone thinks that they're just where they always needed to be. The problem is because the show's so human and messy, and there is no black and there is no white, that there's never any stasis where everyone's satisfied. So Matt, of course, being able to be Daredevil all day, every day, that's not going to work, you know. And Mayor Kingpin just being the mayor, being a tyrant at all times, that's not going to work either. Because the way that we met that guy in the Netflix show is a guy who went into an art gallery and fell in love. Like, that's not a power hungry tyrant. But like, who he is a guy who cares about Vanessa and wants to do that. So they're never going to be satisfied, even though they're in opposite places where they started season 1 of Born Again.
I cannot wait to see what you guys did with season 2. So I'm going to end it with this. Just, you know, I guess a season 2, you kind of just gave a little bit of a tease of, I think, as much as you can possibly say about season 2. So I guess how far along are you guys on season 2? How are you feeling about it? And also, I mean, just because there's so much Thunderbolts footage out there already, I see the movie in a few weeks, but there's so much happening in New York in Thunderbolts. So I wanted to ask if there's anything you guys are having to do to, you know, keep that in mind, the collaborative MCU process, and how you feeling about where you're at on season 2 so far.
I mean, feeling really good. It was our first time returning to something, especially the scope, where it was, you know, more or less all the same people, more or less, and just working with the same crew and having a shorthand with everyone.
Yeah.
And also on something that everyone cares so dearly about from the top down. Every actor loves the show. Everyone working on the show loves the show.
AC has like a Daredevil tattoo, like, you know.
It's, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not even being cynical, and this isn't meant to be cynical. It's just meant to be recognizing it. This is probably one of the most special filmmaking experiences we'll have. We'll again return to something at this scope, at this scale, with everyone caring so much, so many talented people, and so. Yeah, I mean, we're extremely happy with where it's at so far.